Hey pipe smokers, Briarleaf00 here again for another tobacco review. This will be tobacco review number 5, and tonight's blend is Cornell and Diehl's Exhausted Rooster. Let me go ahead and read you the tin description. Exhausted Rooster, a tasty flake of Virginia's, dark fire burley, and a dash of perique. Okay, now before I get started on the review, let's go ahead and take a look at this one up close.
And there's a peek, if we can get that in focus. There we go. There's a peek at the tin. Well, let's take a look inside. If I can get it open, there we go. And there you have it. Nice dark flakes. Let's take a look up close here. Nice. Gorgeous stuff, really. You can see some of the seams of perique sort of running through there. This is really darkened up quite a bit over the years that it's been cellaring. I've got some younger stuff here. This is only about a year old. And the jar, I think, yeah, you can get a good look at that. And as you can see, hopefully, the aged stuff in my hand is quite a bit darker. It's not showing up fabulously on the camera here, but in person, it's quite a marked difference, even with that, fairly modest age mark on it. Very nice stuff, absolutely gorgeous tobacco.
Okay, let's get down to the tasting notes. Now, I do detect there is certainly a topping on this blend. What is it? I don't know. It's not on the tin description, and I've read lots of different things. Some people say rum, some people say like a plum dark fruit type topping. Others say an eggnog type topping. I kind of get all of those flavors in this one, in the topping of this one. So I'm not sure what it is, but it's actually, it's subdued, it's not strong, it's actually absolutely wonderful. Just smelling this stuff in the tin is absolutely incredible, and this is easily one of my favorite flavored blends and one of the best I've ever tried. It starts off with a nice, smooth, kind of straight vapor flavor in the C&D style, which I like to describe as rustic. Now, depending on how you prepare this one, how I prepare this one, I get different smokes, markedly different smokes, depending on how I prepare it. Now, if I fold in stuff, I get just more of the straight Virginia, perique, Kentucky flavors without much of the topping coming through. And if I rub it all the way out to ribbons, I get much more of the topping flavor. And I actually really like to do it both ways. And so it is nice to have that kind of variability with this blend. The Virginias here are pretty sweet. The perique is slightly fruity, slightly spicy, and also has that nice musty element to it. I kind of describe it as like a dank basement taste. I know for those of you unfamiliar maybe with perique, that might sound kind of weird, but it actually is a really pleasant, and that's one of my favorite aspects of Perique. I love that flavor. The Perique and Virginia flavors early on meld nicely with the topping, and the way, now not necessarily the flavor, but just the way the flavors work together with the leaf itself and the added flavoring reminds me, now a lot of people say this reminds them of Haddo's Delight, but for me it reminds me more of Gawith and Hogarth's Louisiana Flake. Now, of course, this doesn't have Lakeland florals like that does, but just in the general category of flavored vapors, that's what I would most closely compare this one to. The Darkfire Kentucky towards the beginning of the smoke is actually really hidden. It's not prevalent. I just get a very general underlying sort of smokiness. But that does change. And as you get to the halfway mark, I get some nice notes of chocolate and spicy plum. And there's a nice balance in the middle part of this bowl. The beginning, the Perique is more forward. The middle, I'm getting the Perique and the Darkfire Kentucky starting to intermingle and mix. And there's a nice balance there where neither dominates towards the middle of the bowl. But as we get towards the bottom of the bowl, well, I should say before that, I'm also getting notes of nutmeg, eggnog, and fruitcake. And I just believe that's a product of the some of the fruity flavors of the Virginia and the Perique melding in and combining with the topping. And those are some of the flavors that come out to me. And now getting towards the last third, the final third of the bowl, that's really where the Darkfire Kentucky kicks in nicely, and it becomes much more forward. The Perique, I don't know how much of a backseat, I don't want to say it takes a backseat. It's still there, but the Darkfire Kentucky is really, for me, the major flavor getting towards the bottom of the bowl. And that's really nice. To me, it just shows a nice progression of flavors throughout the bowl. And so I really appreciate that added complexity to a blend. It just keeps me interested. It's just got a nice, sweet, smoky, almost red wine-like flavors at the very bottom of the bowl. And also, that's where the nicotine really starts to pick up on this one. And this is actually quite a strong blend. Now for strength, I would say this is solidly medium to strong, and if you're not acclimated to nicotine, this could give you a nice wallop. Now let's talk about the smokability. Now I have smoked 4 tins of this blend aged at least 3 years, and I smoked 1 tin new, and that's my major issue with this blend, is that after 3 years, and I'm sure you don't need 3 years to get these results. It might be good after a year and a half. You might get a lot of the same results after a year and a half. I'm just not sure yet. I just haven't smoked enough of this blend to be able to give you that information. But what I can say is that with the aged stuff, I get really like no bite at all, like a tiny bit of fatigue. It's just great, very smooth, very easy to smoke. Unfortunately, with the new Exhausted Rooster, with the new tin, I get a lot of fatigue, and I do get some tongue bite, some true tongue bite, unfortunately. And so I'm going to have to dock this one some points for that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a score. And I'm going to, just for the sake of conversation, I'm going to go ahead and give the aged version an 8.7, which for me is really quite high in my rating scale. 8.7 out of 10 is a very, very good score. And this is a blend that I think demonstrates the benefits of aging very, very nicely. But for the official score, I'm going to be going much more on the new tin than the aged stuff. And unfortunately, I'm going to really have to dock this one some points. because of the smokability issues. So I'm going to go ahead and give the official score for Exhausted Rooster is 7.4 out of 10. Nice stuff. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it. And it certainly has a ton of seller potential. But right now, the smokability issues hold it back from really getting into my upper echelon of tobaccos, of the blends that I really absolutely love. So 7.4 out of 10 for Cornell and Diehl's Exhausted Rooster. Well, hope this has been somewhat informative. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope all you pipe smokers out there are doing really well and enjoying your summer. Hopefully you've been getting a little less rain than we have here in central North Carolina, because it's been crazy. But I hope everybody had a nice 4th of July week and weekend. And I'd like to say goodbye to everybody. This is Briarleaf00. Take it easy.